Yo guys, what is going on? It is Techno, your coach of the Carolina Pantherians, and yeah, definitely have not said that in a while. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be bringing you something a little bit different. Well, not different compared to the rest of my content, but something I've never actually put on my channel before. This is going to be just a couple of my games from the LD Major season that I am currently in now. A little bit of backstory. So I was in LD Majors before I quit the League community. Basically, I think they thought that first of all, LD stands for League Dependency. It's a very well-known league. Chances are, if you're watching this video, you've probably heard of it. Run by my good pal Hiker Toad. You know, all of my other good pals as admins and stuff like that. So yeah, it's definitely just a very good league to be in. Probably considered the most competitive right now, especially in the Masters division. I think like the whole idea of what's the most competitive has been a little bit skewed lately. I mean, honestly, after the NPL kind of died because of the events that happened in the season that I promoted, which is neither here nor there. There's kind of been like a hole to fill for like what the most competitive league is. I'd say it was definitely between this one and Hive Mega Beedrill, but this is just my personal opinion. I believe just based on the caliber of players right now, and this is no shade to anyone. I mean, everyone in these two leagues are very good players, but I believe that this is going to be the best just to be in LD Masters. Both are very good. I'm trying to get into both. I'll be bringing you guys probably my Hive Beedrill season as well, which is another league that I am in. As soon as I get more games in that, I'm only 3 games in, whereas in this league we're 6 weeks in, but you'll only be seeing 4 games. Anyways, so yeah, that's my goal. I'm trying to promote, and I'm trying to be able to take on all my good pals again who are in the top division. So yeah, fortunately, like I said, I am good pals with Hiker Toad, who is the commissioner of the league. So basically, one of the coaches, H. Colin, I came back to the community, I think a little bit too late to rejoin majors. I don't think people knew if I'd be taking it seriously back then or still like coming back, or if I'd still just like, kind of like knock it off. Because when I promoted to Masters last season, I drafted round 1 Tyrantrum in Masters, lost my first 2 games, and then I dipped. So I can see why maybe they'd be a little bit hesitant to put me in, but I never actually did ask, though it was definitely a goal of mine. I thought I'd have to wait at least another season, but yeah, fortunately, so H. Colin, another pretty well-known name in the community, I'd say, he decided to drop from the league, which, I guess just to focus on whatever else he needed to focus on, and Hiker decided that I would be able to get his team. It'd be a good replacement for him. So usually when I replace coaches, they're not doing the best. I mean, I replaced Turbo in the GBAD league, and I don't think he was doing amazing back then. I'm actually not like totally cognizant of his record. I don't really remember that well. That was a completely scuffed season. Check out my other videos if you want to see that. Very old. I think, it's funny. Every time I end up winning one of these minors divisions, they kind of end up dying. I mean, I won NPL minors, and then after that, the whole timer forfeit, double forfeit fiasco happened, and the league was never the same. I won GBAD league technically because of the sets that were brought that weren't allowed. And then I think GBAD League died for good, so yeah, I think I just have a curse. But I mean, I did win. Well, I didn't win majors per se. I mean, I got the highest record in this last time I was in it, but I didn't win. I got 6-0'd in the semifinals by my good pal Jake, who is a current Masters coach. So yeah, that was a pretty funny scenario. But anyways, so yeah, I ended up getting this team, and I definitely really like it. I'll be putting it on the screen right now. You guys can see a few of the mons right here, but yeah, you guys can see the whole team right here. This isn't actually the original team. The original team had Chestnut, Granbull, and Golbat on it, but although those were good mons maybe for Colin's playstyle, I decided I wouldn't end up wanting to use them. And so as I was saying, Colin did actually end up giving me this team when he was 2-0. Well, actually, he was 1-0 at the time. Then he played his last game and ended up 2-0. So that was a really big benefit for me in terms of promoting, because it's not too many wins to where, you know, it's like, oh, well, if you just get this team and you get like a couple of wins, then you're not going to be able to promote anyways. That's what happened in my first season of NPL Minors, where I didn't end up in majors because I was basically auto-locked to not be able to promote or even make playoffs because of how late I was a replacement. But in this, I'm sure I can definitely come back and end up promoting. So you guys can see this team. Now, there's not a lot of new mons, actually none, except for the ones I picked up. I dropped Chestnut, Golbat, and the Gramble, all for Runerigus and Phalanx. I don't think those two mons are technically great mons, but they do fill like a tiny little niche on my team, and like I did have some plans for them, just in case. What I was mostly like intrigued with is a lot of these mons are definitely seeming a lot better this generation. Let me just go with the first mon that he picked was Garchomp, and honestly, Garchomp is going to be a humongous threat this generation. I can already tell. Every single mon lost hidden power, which, you know, obviously was attainable to every single mon in the game. So no more HP Ice for that shit. Electrics can't really do shit versus it. So I wasn't really that like concerned about any single electric on the opponent's teams, because, you know, HP Ice is completely gone. Most of them can't really touch it with anything better than like Shadow Ball. So I'd say that's a really good boost for Garchomp. Now, obviously there's no Z moves, but the thing is, Garchomp is still really good without Z moves in my opinion. It's just got a lot of utility moves, really good offensive power. So yeah, really looking forward to using it. Necrozma. Now I feel like Necrozma just keeps getting, it's like it keeps getting patched and buffed. It's like continuously updated every single time, because all of a sudden this thing gets fucking Dragon Dance, which is, I don't even know why, but that's just another huge factor in why it's going to be really good. And it also retains all of its old moves, because in this LD format, basically there's no megas, and you can use all the post-home moves, which is really cool. Except for the ones that don't exist, with like Hidden Power, Pursuit, so, you know. But, I mean, I still get Knockoff on all my mons that got it, so that's really good. Knockoff is a great move, obviously. Azumarill, one of my favorite mons. I think it definitely got a little bit nerfed because of Z moves. A lot of Pokemon could run just like random Gigavolt Havoc or Bloom Doom, shit like that, just to cheese this thing out. Even dragons, a lot of them running Acid Downpour if they were afraid of Azumarill. But now that that is gone, Azumarill can basically just tank a lot of different hits, and OHKO mon's back. It's really hard to OHKO an Azumarill with something that doesn't have super effective stab damage for it. So yeah, definitely one of my favorite mons. There's a lot of things you can do with it that I feel are going to come in a lot of really clutch scenarios, especially with this team. Weavile. So Weavile lost Pursuit, which sucks, but Weavile did gain the Boots, and Boots are really good for Weavile, especially because I can now use Knockoff. I can't use it in the Galardex form of DPL, which yeah, I guess you guys will see. I have a game with that I'm also going to be uploading once I finish out a couple more DPL games. Speaking of, I should probably say, like, I definitely like this format of uploading a bunch of games at a time more. I don't like having to, you know, just make like a whole bunch of different videos just for individual games. It feels redundant when like there's no point, there's no like actual requirement in uploading. It's just completely redundant. This is just for fun. I just enjoy doing this, giving my insight, or maybe teaching you guys a few things, because, you know, I mean, I am an old man, I guess, in this community. I mean, obviously not in terms of my age, but, you know, just in terms of how long I've been playing, the fact that I've retired for a while. But I still do think that there's quite a few tips and tricks that I could give to a lot of you, especially some of you new faces who are joining the community. So yeah, I think that's mainly why I upload these videos, to help you guys just as a hobby, all that. So yeah, these movie formats definitely help me out a lot, and I think that they're kind of the best way to do these things. But anyways, yeah, so Weavile, like I said, also no hidden power, so another 4 times weak mon, but it's kind of whatever. Hidden Power Fighting is pretty rarely used, I'd say, on a lot of mons just for Weavile. But you know, there's still a few mons that it is like used on. Maybe like a bulky ghost wants to use it, like a Cophagrigus, just random thing I'm thinking of. So yeah, I mean, Weavile, definitely a little bit nerfed from Gen 6. Gen 7 it wasn't like amazing, but it was still pretty good. No Pursuit definitely hurts it, but it's still a good mon. Like Klefki, obviously always really good. Kind of does the same thing all the time, but pretty good utility mon, especially for this offensive team. Salazzle, got the boots. Fairies can't randomly run Hidden Power Ground Forward anymore, so that's really good. I'd say this thing is definitely buffed this generation. I mean, no Z moves kind of hurts it, but it's still a pretty good mon. Then I actually didn't have Tornadus Eye at this time. That was another drop that I made, so yeah. Didn't really use it that much in these 4 games. And then the last one I want to talk about is Heliolisk. Now Heliolisk, I was saying this at the beginning of the gen when I found out there's going to be no hidden power. Heliolisk is actually going to be a really good electric type, and I think it's definitely pretty slept on. Now, I've loved this thing for a long time. I've thought it's been a really cool mon, really good speed tier. Access to Volt Switch and U-turn, so you get out on those ground types, those Volt Absorbers, etc. Dual Stab for an electric is really good, as well as its coverage it gets. Now, I think the drawback is it's really frail, but you know, it's fine. It's an electric type, and it's not the strongest, but it is still really strong. So I think this thing is hella slept on, so definitely looking forward to using it. I think it's really good. So anyways, there's my team. Good team drafted by Colin. Very looking forward to using it. So yeah, we'll just see how these games turned out. So my first game I had was versus Josh the Turtwig. Now this Ace Trainer Josh, just his name on Showdown is that. So this was a pretty ironic first matchup because this was actually the last game I played in LD before I quit with my round 1 Tyrantrum team. I think I almost got that sweep off with Rest CD Tyrantrum, but I just like barely didn't because of Megalotti or some shit. But yeah, so this is going to be an interesting matchup. Now, I didn't know the records at the time, but I'm pretty sure Josh was 1-1 when we did this battle. I was 2-0 with the inherited team, so I wanted to not, you know, just completely destroy the record. I wanted to try to do well, you know. That's always the goal. So he has a really strong team, especially his first 3 picks are a little bit ridiculous, and I guess first 4. He's got Darmanitan Galar, which, you know, got banned. Galadex OU because it's really strong, stupidly strong. He's got Tapu Fini, Corviknight, so 2 of the best walls in the game, I'd say right there. Especially Corviknight, just doing all that work. He's got Dracovish, slightly overrated mon, but it's still really good. If your opponent doesn't have a water absorb mon, that thing just clicks buttons. Honestly, it just destroys your whole team. And I'm assuming if you guys have seen this video, you know all about Dracovish. It does kind of force a play style. It does force you to bring a lot more offensive teams, but I was able to manage that with this team that I whipped up right here. He's got Raikou, very nerfed mon, and Superior, another very nerfed mon because of the lack of hidden power. Still good though, you can still find use in both of them. But yeah, I did figure because of how nerfed they were this matchup, what with the Superior not being able to really hit my Salazzle, as well as Raikou not really being able to hit my Garchomp, I thought they probably wouldn't come, and they did not. Nidoking, really strong wall breaker. Turtonator gets Rapid Spin this generation, so good mon. Definitely a very good mon. And then he's also got the Lycanroc Dusk. I love that thing, really good. Not great versus my team, except I guess it's alright versus my team versus mons like Weavile with Accelerock, but I still do out-prioritize it with Ice Shard, so you never know. Miss Magius, good ghost type, and then Musharna. Not sure what Musharna was for. It's probably just a fighting check. Most of the time when people draft Musharna in Draft League, it's when Megas are allowed, because it responds pretty decently well to Mega Lopunny and Mega Medicham, mainly Mega Medicham. I think that's the main reason why Musharna is drafted, but in LD there is no Megas allowed. It's a whole season with just every single mon but no Megas, which I actually like a lot. Definitely diversifies things a little bit. It's a very interesting way to play, and I was definitely very glad to take part in it. So you guys can see this team that I whipped up here. So I figured I would bring a Scarf Garchomp. Now that might seem a little bit ridiculous versus a mon like Corviknight, but I figured if I get rid of Corviknight, he's not going to have much for my Scarf Garchomp. at all. I mean, every single mon on his team gets outsped, except for like Scarf Superior and Scarf Raikou, which, you know, I guess Scarf Raikou could have come. I didn't see Scarf Superior coming whatsoever. Just too many responses to it. Could have had Sap Sip or Azumarill, you know, what's it called? I Ice Shard with Weavile, I can Thunder Wave with Klefki, all sorts of things, so it probably wouldn't come. Wasn't that afraid of it. Not to mention, Superior is pretty weak without the boosts, so I didn't even think Leaf Storm would do that much damage. I mean, it would do a lot, but, you know. So I figured the rest of my game plan is going to revolve around getting rid of Corviknight, kind of luring it, making sure I can just beat that thing down, and weakening the Tapu Fini, because once I weaken those walls, I do really just destroy with Garchomp. I've also got an Expert Belt, Heliolisk. Now, usually I like Scarf Heliolisk. It's just good bring in most matchups, but in this one I figured I want that boost of power versus a lot of his mons. He's going to switch out most of the time versus Corviknight Tapu Fini, so I can get that boost. I can get a U-turn off. I have U-turn on that thing too, because I thought he'd go Nidoking 99% of the time. So I didn't want to have to like play around with mind games, because I can always just go into one of my Avengers, which I have 2 of them right here, or I guess 3, well 4, honestly. I've got a Mystic Water Azumarill with Power Up Punch, Play Rough, Liquidation, and Aqua Jet. Now this is a really good set versus him. If I get a Power Up Punch, then Mystic Water, Liquidation just fucking destroys Corviknight, does a shit ton of damage, and then Mystic Water Aqua Jet just fucking destroys something. I mean, it has a really good shot to kill Nidoking after like 2 rock switch-ins, so that was definitely a good bring this game. I have a max defense lead Necrozma, so I just brought max HP, max defense. It doesn't get 2-killed by Adamant Band Darmanitan, I'm pretty sure, unless I did the calc completely wrong. I mean, I might have. It did seem a little bit too good to be true. So maybe I did do the calc wrong, but either way, it doesn't get O-code, so that's all that really mattered. It would never get O-code by Adamant Bandit Darmanitan, so it's basically just free rocks versus his whole team. Unless he taunts me turn 1, nothing really kills it at all. I think it even lives a hit from a Banded Dracovish, which is really good. And then he's got a, then I've got a Heavy Duty Boots. No, this is Life Orb this game. Yeah, I brought Life Orb Weavile this game. I figured, you know, I'll be switching out on rocks, which is fine because the breaking power is really essential, because I don't have Icicle Crash, I have Knockoff only, and I need the Life Orb to kill Nidoking at a lot of percentages. I figured it would be better to bring Ice Shard, Poison Jab, Knockoff, and then Swords Dance. I thought that would be the best set versus him. And then my last one is going to be a Heavy Duty Boots Salazzle with Nasty Plot, Fire Blast, Sledge Wave, and Substitute. Really good set versus him. Just breaks through a lot of mons. So yeah, Josh is a very good opponent. Definitely a tough game to play my first game back, but I was feeling pretty ready for it. I mean, I thought I had a good prep for his team. So I decided when I saw his team right here, I would end up leading with my Necrozma because, like I said, it's a pretty free lead in most scenarios, as he does just end up leading right off with the Darmanitan. So I knew that I could take a U-turn right here, and based on the damage he does right here, it does 39%, so that could either be a max roll for Jolly Band, or it was just Adamant Band, and he got a mid-roll. Prism Armor is really OP. Actually, I'm almost seeing my calc right here, because I actually have it open. Yeah, I figured I didn't have anything really disrupting the calc. You can see right here, U-turn, if you just see right here, U-turn to my set right there does 35.6 to 42.2%. So yeah, I feel like something is wrong there, because that damage seems a little bit off considering it is a Darmanitan. And that thing is ridiculously broken, but I guess Necrozma is just even more broken. And yeah, I'm just gonna get my own rocks right here. Now, he can choose to defog if he wants, but what I decided is I'm just going to go for a Photon Geyser. I mean, if he wanted to taunt me, it was fine, because getting damage on this thing was really crucial for Weavile and for Garchomp, as well as Azumarill. Just really good overall versus his team. So I do 32%. That doesn't really tell me much, I didn't think. And he didn't really get a taunt right off here, so he just goes for Knockoff. And I'm going to keep Photon Geysering. I thought he'd just taunt right there, so I went for it. I figured I might as well get more damage. If he calm-minded, I would have just gotten Rocks up again, and then I can always just switch out. I can either go into my Heliolisk or my Salazzle, and on this turn, oh my god. On this turn, sorry, I don't know if you guys can hear this, but my computer is basically been getting fucked for the last long while. I tried to download a Triano hack, and yeah, that's how you get a virus on your computer. Anyways, he's gonna go into his Mismagius on my Stealth Rocks. I think he realized he wasn't really doing much to me. He was kind of just losing his Feeny. He kind of needed a lot of health on it. So yeah, I'm going to make the switch into Heliolisk. I figured this thing's gonna do a lot better as a pivot this game, now that the Tapu Fini is already so weakened. So I decided I'll just go right into it. It's not gonna be able to do much to me, unless he goes for a Mystical Fire right here. But he actually just goes for Will-O-Wisp, likely expecting my Garchomp or my, I guess any of my physical attackers work. Thunderbolts will come out right there, and Mystical Fire comes out as well, but it doesn't do much to me, even though I am dry skinned. So I figure it is a much more bulky set, especially considering the Thunderbolt damage. So here I'm just going to U-turn out. I figure he's going to go for Mystical Fire again, and U-turn is going to come out and it's going to do nothing, but it's going to get me the initiative I need right into my Necrozma, and this is where I'm going to scout the set. I didn't go right into my Garchomp because I figured if I go for Earthquake, then Corviknight just comes in, and I'm not sure what it's going to do to me. I want to keep my Heliolisk a little bit more healthy for this Magius, so I'll just see what this thing does right here. And if I can't take the hit from a Nidoking, then like what's really the use of my Necrozma for the rest of this game? I mean, I don't do much damage to the what's it called, to the Corviknight, so I figured I might as well just stand right here and see if he can kill me. And he does actually kill me, so that does reveal that he's either Specs or Life Orb, but it's obviously more than likely Life Orb. And I'm just gonna go into my Garchomp and click the safe EQ on this turn. Now, because I also didn't want to see, I also wanted to see if he was not a Scarf Nidoking because of my Salazzle and my Heliolisk. I thought that getting that damage off and scouting would be a lot better for me. So Earthquake's gonna come over right here, and I decided on this turn, I have my same old pivot that I can keep going into, which is just going to be my Heliolisk. Now I know I can U-turn for free on the Nidoking, except for he goes for Tailwind this turn. This was an interesting play, because now I was like, okay, well, what can happen here is he can just keep going into his Nidoking, and it can be really scary, but I already know he's Life Orb or Specs or something. I know he's not going to be Pasture Berry or Yache Berry or any of that shit, so I'm going to go for U-turn right here as he goes Nidoking, and I'm going to go right into my Azumarill. And I figure on this turn, I'm either going to get an Aqua Jet off on this Nidoking and likely kill it because I am adamant max attack Mystic Water, or I'm going to get a kill on the Tapu Fini after I go for Play Rough the second time it comes in. If he goes Corviknight, I'm going to beat that thing 1v1. It's going to be really good. So yeah, it's a pretty tough position for him, but here I'm just going to Aqua Jet, and it is just going to kill the Nidoking. And yeah, good job to Azumarill. First kill of the season for me. And now Tapu Fini is going to come in right here, and I decide, all right, well, I can probably just get off a Play Rough. He's going to defog more than likely, not do much to me. So yeah, Play Rough going to come out right here, and that is a dead Tapu Fini. And now I'm like, okay, well, what's he really going to do versus me? I mean, I'd say Mismagius is probably his best play right here, because he can just get a Will-O-Wisp off and live the Aqua Jet. So I'm like, all right, well, I now can freely just click Thunderbolt versus his team. I mean, if he goes Turtonator, I can just Hyper Voice and then kill it with a priority move. So I'm not that worried about it at all. And yeah, I'm just going to Thunderbolt right here, do a lot of damage, and it's going to put it more than likely in range of an Aqua Jet, but I don't want to risk it just yet because he does seem to be a very bulky set. If I get burned on my Azumarill, oh, I guess I do just risk it right here. Yeah, I think I did the calc and it was going to kill, but if I got burned on Azumarill, maybe he thought, nah, I don't know what he thought I was doing. I guess I did calc and I was going to kill because I was Mystic Water. Sorry, this game was played a while ago. Anyways, Aqua Jet's gonna come right there. Does not bring much to the Corviknight, but I am designed to beat this Corviknight with my Power Up Punch. If he keeps letting me Power Up Punch, I will just sweep with the Azumarill. I mean, if he goes for like Roost over and over again, Azumarill will just win this game. I mean, he can't really do much, so I decided he's not going to do that. He's going to keep attacking, so I'm going to click Liquidation this turn as he goes for Brave Bird. Gets me pretty low, but Liquidation will just murk this Corviknight, and you guys can now see he has 0 resistance to a Dragon attack. So this is exactly the plan that I planned out. I want a Garchomp to win late game if it came down to it after I killed the walls, and it's definitely looking pretty good for me. So here I'm going to click Aqua Jet on the Darmanitan, and it's going to do quite a bit. Azumarill, a very strong Pokemon, and now I can just go into my Garchomp. I know I outspeed no matter what. Even if for some reason I fucked up the Calcaneus Scarf, I am faster than that thing. So I'll just Declaw right here. Miss Magus will die. And now turn 8 is going to come in, and here's how I basically decide this whole game is going to turn out. One, I already calced he's going to be a banded Darmanitan on this thing, but if he goes for Shell Smash right here, which is his only possible chance to win, if I like switched out, I will outspeed it with this thing. If he goes for Draco, I will die, but then I'll go into my Weavile, and he can't kill me with a Scarf EQ, and I can just kill him with a knockoff. If he locks himself into the Rock Slide, that could be a little bit bad for me. But fortunately, I was also just very sure that he was a banded set based on, you know, just the fact that he was Tailwind on his Corviknight, the damage he did to the Necrozma, so yeah, it seemed pretty good for me. Dragon Claw's gonna come over right here, and he's going to Shell Smash, expecting me to choke maybe, thinking maybe with Scarf, but no, I'm not gonna choke. I'm just going to stay in, get the Shell Smash off, but I am just going to kill with Declaw, and yeah, this is looking like a very nice little mini Chomp Sweep right here at the end of the game, so very good game to Josh. The whole Tailwind strat seemed to be pretty good in theory, but I think like just in the game, didn't end up working as well as he wanted it to, because I just had a lot of priority versus him. That would be very good. I mean, even still, like if he was, he couldn't have been Scarf on the Darmanitan, which I realized, so I would have ended up picking him off with one of my Mons eventually late game, so it was a very good game to him. If he was Scarfed and he did go for like Rock Slide, then it maybe could have won, but I don't know, I figured his set would be Flare Blitz, because he wants to hit a Magnet Rise Klefki, Ice Crush U-turn, then I guess maybe Rock Slide could have been the last move, or Earthquake, depending on what he went with, but yeah, so good game to Josh, neither here nor there. Let's get on to the next one. So the next one I played was versus Muck Muck. Now, I didn't know much about this player, but I'd heard a decent amount about him, you know. He's definitely kind of a well-known presence in the chat. Anyways, his team that he had, I will be reading it right now. You guys can see the team he ended up bringing was the Infernape, the Registeel, the Mew, the Tapu Koko, the Diggersby, and the Scolipede. On the bench, I think there were a couple of important Mons he got on the bench. I'm just actually pulling it up right now. Yeah, he left the Mandibuzz on the bench, which was pretty good for me, for my Garchomp. He didn't bring the Appleton either, which, you know, was kind of whatever. I mean, I didn't think it would become, but everything else is kind of just like a little bit redundant versus my team. This was kind of the team that I expected him to bring, honestly. Really strong offensively versus me. But my plan was, since he has a lack of defoggers or reliable ones that don't just get pressured by my offense that I'm bringing, because I am Scarf Salazzle, so Tapu Koko won't be that good versus me. I'm going to bring Spikes this week and Stealth Rocks, and hopefully I will be able to just clean house with my offensive Mons. I'm Life Orb Azumarill, that way I OHKO quite a decent amount of Mons on his team, as well as, you know, just do a lot more damage to Mons like Koko than I would with, like, I guess, I don't know, like Assault Vest. Yeah, it seemed like a very good bring this game. I had Roselia Berry on my Garchomp because I was able to take a Dazzling Gleam from Koko. Can't run HPS anymore, so that's a lot of an easier mind game. I think I had SD, Earthquake, Declaw, and something else. And then just Spikes on my Klefki with Thunderwave, Play Rough, Magnet Rise for the Diggersby and the Scolipede mainly. And the last one was Foul Play. Stealth Rock's Weakness Policy on my my Necrozma. And my plan was he was going to U-turn out with one of his U-turners, going to Mandibuzz, and I was just going to kill that thing with 2 Power Gems, but he didn't actually bring it, so now it's just more of a rocker. Now I have a lot less to worry about, I guess, or if it's a defogger, it's going to be a different one. I've got, I think it was Boots Weavile this week, we'll see actually in the game, and just regular Salazzle. So at the time, he was, or Scarf Salazzle, so at the time I think my opponent was 0-3, I was 2-1, so let's see how this goes. I leave it to Necrozma because I think that he's going to lead with his U-turner, like I said, it's my game plan. Necrozma's just an overall safe lead, I think, most of the time. I click Photon Geyser because Diggersby is a really threatening Mon. I know I outspeed it with my speed investment, and he's going to click Body Slam right here. It doesn't get return anymore, so at least I'm going to get this Body Slam off, be able to live it, because it is a lot weaker than return, but he does get the para, and now I'm like, ah, shit. So there's no rocks this game. I really struggled to get them up versus anything, so maybe I should just sack this thing right here, but I think I really thought in my head that I should just try to get rocks up. I can go into my clef key and take a couple of hits, but yeah, you guys will see. I take 50% and I get fully paralyzed, and I'm like, ah, shit. So this isn't very good, but I think as long as I get a spike up here, I should be in a good position with my offensive mons. I mean, offense is still really good for Sim, but I get paralyzed this turn as I go for spike. Sam comes out and get paralyzed again. So this is a really great sequence of turns for me. I got no hazards up. I got 50% on Diggersby, and I basically got 2 mons crippled for no fucking reason. So yeah, really shitty for me. Definitely really sucks to start a game off that way, especially when I'm trying to promote, you know. Every game counts. But yeah, I'm gonna try to keep my head in this, see if I can maybe win, and yeah, he just doesn't switch out, so Earthquake can come right there and kill it. Now on this turn, I just decided to sack Necrozma because I thought I'd just go for Ice Beam, as he does. And yeah, there's the Necrozma. So no hazards. I'm gonna have to somehow pull this shit out of my ass. I didn't think he'd be Willow this week. If he was, it was kind of like whatever. Man, I was a lot better versus him with my other offensive mons. So he goes for Psychic. I thought he'd be more offensive, as he was. Player off gonna come out right there. And yeah, you guys can see, if he took Stealth Rocks or Spikes, then he just died to Aqua Jet. I don't have to take this hit with Garchomp. But yeah, unfortunately I do. So yeah, it's just all looking really rough for me, honestly. For next gonna come out right here, and I will go into my Salazzle. He's not gonna Earthquake right here. He's gonna CC. I take less than 50%, which was what I expected. And then I'm just gonna overheat right here. I didn't really think he'd stay in right there. I mean, I guess I did. I guess it was just like fun play overall, because if I do go for Sludge Wave and I outspeed him because he's likely Scarf, then he just goes into the Scolipede and he can maybe SD and just win the game right there. But yeah, CC's gonna come right there, leaves me on 2%, and I think I just overheat again as Tapu Koko decides to come out for some reason. And yeah, that's just going to be a lot of damage on Koko, even though I am -2 at that point. So yeah, I go into my Garchomp, because I can't really do much else. If I had the Spike up, maybe it would have gone into my Azumarill, take the hit and then go for Aqua Jet, but yeah, no. No Spike. Like I said, this is all just really unfortunate for me. I really needed those hazards up to end up like just denting through his whole team. You guys will even see right here. I go for Flamethrower right here, and he is Sash, so that's just such a big kicker, because look at his team. I could have just really just won right here, if I had the hazards up, but unfortunately, yeah, I just didn't, because, you know, that'll happen. Diggersby goat, I guess, and now he's just gonna kill me with the Poison Jab. So yeah, sorry, I'm just trying to attack. We've also come right here, and I'm just gonna Ice Shard. And now it's looking pretty bleak to win this game. I have to hope somehow I get this 50-50 right versus him. If I Ice Shard and he goes for the Roost, I just lose right here. So I thought that it would be a lot better for him. Because if I go for Crash and he goes for Roost, I kill with Ice Shard the next turn, I get damage on Registeel, and then he just loses. So it'll be better play for him to risk this and go for the Dazzling Gleam. And yeah, so now I'm like, okay, Azumarill, you're Life Orb, you have a lot of power, you have superpower, you are Superman, so you can kill this Registeel, maybe. And you guys are gonna see, it does 92% and leaves him on 8%, and that is just the saddest thing I've ever seen, because guess what move does 8% and belong to my Clef Key? The answer is Spikes. So yeah, so many scenarios where having any hazard up would have just won me this game. Because I thought I played this game relatively well, despite, you know, a couple of, maybe I could have just sacked my Necrozma, gotten those spikes up later, but I didn't. I thought that I could just get them up versus the Registeel with my Necrozma anyways, so it didn't seem worth it to me to sack. So yeah, you guys will see I am going to lose this game 1-0, so that's really unfortunate. I fall to 3-1, which isn't great. I mean, it's definitely a tight playoff race. There is still Specs King ahead of me, who is currently undefeated in the league. So I needed to not take that loss, I feel, but especially because that was a pretty good matchup for me. I should have easily won that game, but you know, what can you do, really? GG to Muck. And I guess congrats on your win. So next game we have here is going to be versus a player named Thunderbolt. He was also currently not doing very well in the league, I don't think. It's funny. The funny theme about these first couple of games is I actually didn't get opponents that were doing amazingly in the league. So most of them are gonna come a little bit later. I haven't played them yet, but yeah. So he's got a pretty good team. You guys can see the mons he brought right here. He's got Celesteela, he's got Togekiss, he's got Melodic, Nidoqueen, Incineroar, and the Decidueye. Now the biggest threat that he left in the back to my team was gonna be the Boltund, but I kind of figured he wouldn't bring it. I mean, it can't really do too much versus my Garchomp besides Play Rough. I have Scarfers that beat it. Weavile outspeeds. I got all the good priorities, so yeah, I thought it wouldn't come. This is the first game I'm bringing Tornadus. I've just got a heavy duty boot set with a Hurricane U-Turn, Heat Wave, and Defog. I've got a Necrozma, just regular lead, Stealth Rocks, as I always bring. I've got the Boots Weavile this game. I figured it would be a lot better. Getting knockoff on Incineroar is really good too, because he's likely to be Boots, because a lot of mons just rely on Boots instead of Defog all of a sudden. So if I knock off the Incineroar, it just keeps coming in, keeps taking Boots, and it really pairs really well with my Azumarill set, which is just going to be the Paris Trap set. You guys can see his team, he really gets destroyed by it. I mean, unless he Shed Shell Milotic, he doesn't really, he kind of just loses his Milotic to it if he's not careful. The Decidueye gets destroyed, Incineroar gets destroyed. Togekiss, it can beat it. Celesteela can probably beat it if it tried, but I do get a Perish Song off on it. So yeah, it's a really good set this game. I am Haban on my, what's it called, my Garchomp. I'm actually looking what I brought that for. He had something, it might have been a Latios. I'm actually pretty sure he did have that, but let me actually just check right here. As I said, sorry guys, it's been a while since I've played these particular games. Yeah, he did have Latios, so I brought Haban. He didn't end up bringing it, likely because of my, just the offensive pressure I had versus it. Scarfchomp, Weavile, Azumarill, Tornadus. So, yeah, I understand why I didn't bring that. And then last one is going to be Scarf. Similar set versus when I played Josh with the Nidoqueen. So, just a U-Turn, Thunderbolt, Hyper Voice, Dark Pulse for the Decidueye, and the Latios. So let's see how this game turns out. Once again, I'm going to lead off with the Necrozma. I figured if you let off with the Incineroar, I can easily just switch out on that into my Azumarill. As I'm going to get my I get up my rocks right here, and now I decide Azumarill can come in, and Incineroar gets Parting Shot now, which is a good tech for it. And he decides to go Milotic on this thing now. This was definitely his first mistake, because I will get the Whirlpool off, and he's going to Toxic, but basically he just traded his Milotic for me just going to sleep with my Azumarill, because now I am just going to Perish Song. And yeah, this set is really fun. For some reason, even though it's a really good set, it catches a lot of people off guard. I enjoy it a lot. As I rest here, I'm going to get my Chesto, and then I can just click the Protect. This means he can't Toxic me the next turn, because I will just switch out, obviously. And I decided if I'm going to get anything Toxic, it's going to be the... I think the Necrozma is what I went into right here. I should have probably gone to Heliolisk, considering that if I just go Heliolisk, it's just going to be switching out every time. So that was probably my better play. But he did just Scald right there, so Heliolisk was a good play, but I didn't end up going for it. So yeah, he just lost some Milotic, and he decides to go into Incineroar, but for some reason, Azumarill still is able to beat it, obviously. So Whirlpool again, because it just does a little bit of chip to whatever he brings in. If he goes Nidoqueen, that's still really good, as I can just Protect here. And he Sludge Waves. So now my Necrozma is a little bit useless. It's got up rocks. It's a little bit of a cripple versus mons like the Celesteela and all that. So I'm just going to go for the, you guys see my tech right here. I have the knockoff for when he brought in Incineroar every time. This is really good to bring on my part, because knocking off the Incineroar means that now it can't come in on rocks every single time anymore. It's definitely on a timer, unless he does Defog with one of his mons, which I can then exploit. He decides to go Celesteela here, and this is another really good thing about this set. So I Whirlpool here, obviously, but y'all know how sound moves work. always going through the always going right through the sub. So I'm gonna protect right here, and he's just going to not be able to do much. I decided not to stay in because obviously I am a sitting duck versus this thing, and he's just going to be able to get off -2 air slash versus me. So yeah, now he's not going to want to lose this thing, so I know that for a fact, and I know I can get a whirlpool off, so I'm going to double in my Azumarill, predicting the Incineroar, and yep, so I figured no matter what he went to, this was a good play. If he went to Togekiss, I switch out, or I just stay in, click Whirlpool, whatever I'm deciding. If he goes Nidoqueen, I switch back into Krozma. It was just a good play no matter what, and I expected Incineroar. That's what ended up coming out, so yep. Another turn of Whirlpool for me, and yeah, the set is definitely doing a lot more work than I thought it would. Didn't really bring much forward at all, I don't think. Now on this turn, I let it get tricked for some reason. Probably should have clicked Protect, but I think I was a lot more nervous about Nasty Plot. So I decided instead I would just click the Perish Song right there. Now I decided I can just stay in now. I mean, this thing has done a lot more work than I ever thought it would. Boots are moved on Incineroar, so it's limited anyways, so I'm not too worried about that thing continually coming in. And now he's gonna miss the Air Slash versus Heliolisk. I mean, it wouldn't do that much. Now he actually made a very interesting play here. I U-turned because, you know, you're supposed to switch when you can versus Perish Song, but I guess he forgot that. He said in chat something like "oh" or some shit like that, but I U-turned expecting Nidoqueen to just come in or something else. I just want to get initiative, going to my offensive Mons, but he actually just stays in and clicks Roost. So yeah, this thing's dead. It's perished. Goodbye. So 2 kills for Azumarill, doing a lot of work. Azumarill has really just been the MVP for a lot of this game. Definitely would have won last game and just fucked him all up if I got that spike up, but you know, what can you do? I have Thunder Wave on this thing too, by the way, because I'm cheeky as hell. I already saw his set. I don't think he's that threatening. I mean, Metal Sound is just a Stall Breaker set, but I didn't really understand why he brought it, considering that my whole team is really offensive. I would have just brought a more offensive set overall. Autotomize does come out here, but he is paralyzed, so I am able to break with my thing. Now I'm not too worried about this. I can always get a Perish Song off before I die. And now I see that he has nothing to really hit my Heliolisk unless he gets a Beast Boost. So I'm just going to switch into it, and I'm going to click Thunderbolt, not wanting to play around because I do just want to sack my Necrozma at this point. It's definitely done its job. And now I go into my Weavile. I figure this thing's either Yachi or Shuka. More than likely Shuka because Weavile still just beats it with the knockoff anyways. So I'm just knock off right there and go right back into my Azumarill. And he's going to click Parting Shot right there. And yeah, I mean, I can't still just click Whirlpool, but I decided I'll just go Garchomp. I mean, why not? I win with a lot of different mons anyways at this point. Might as well just go Garchomp. Preserve from differential because of that loss I just took. So I didn't think he'd Ice Beam right there. He wasn't really predicting at all, honestly. So it was a pretty safe bet to just go Garchomp. I go for Fire Fang on the Decidueye coming in. I flinch. Doesn't matter at all though, because he wouldn't be able to kill me. And I guess it might have mattered because maybe Spirit Shackle into this Air Slash would have killed, but if you look at the damage, likely not. I mean, he would have had to Shadow Sneak, and even still, I don't think it does that because Garchomp is really fat. So yeah, it's just gonna be a nice little Garchomp endgame win for me right there. So yeah, I mean, pretty interesting prep on his part. He really didn't have much for the Whirlpool Azumarill at all, so I wasn't really too worried about that. It kind of just kept coming in and kept getting kills because there wasn't really much he could do versus it. Which, I mean, I guess that was just a good bring on my part. So yeah, Tornadus did nothing, whatever. So GG to Thunderbolts, and then one more game I have here is versus Owen. So this was definitely the matchup I was the most nervous for because I just always get nervous versus Owen for some reason. I mean, it's definitely kind of just a rivalry I've had for a while. We've played in just about every league at this point. We played in NPL, we played in Hive twice, and now we've played in LD after this game. So he's not having the hottest season. It's definitely pretty uncharacteristic of him, but he's currently, I think, 1-4 going into this game. We're currently 3-1, no, 4-1. Yeah, after that win versus Thunderbolt. So yeah, I decided to have to bring a pretty solid team this week, or so I thought. He's got mons like everything you see here. He made some trades because his team wasn't working out, so this was his new team. He also had a Salamence in the back, he had Claydol, and he had Entei, as well as something else that I'm not remembering because it wasn't relevant. Oh yeah, Copperajah. Pretty cool mon, but I didn't think it would come. So I decided he loves Alomomola. Alomomola can wall a lot of my mons if I'm not careful. So my whole strategy relies on winning with Azumarill. So I'm sub Power Punch, play rough Aqua Jet with a lot of speed. Because if you look at his team, it kind of just destroys it. The only response he has is going to be Unaware Clef, which is why I bring this Runerigus. Not only does it beat Zeraora, take a hit from the Heracross and give it Wandering Spirit, but which, if you guys didn't know, it's kind of like Mummy, but it's a little bit different. It's like every time you hit it, it's just a switch. Every time contact is made, there's a switch in abilities. So I would get Guts, and he would get or Moxie, I guess, and he would get the Wandering Spirit, which I thought was definitely a good trade for me. Considering that I have T-Spikes on this thing now. T-Spikes, Haze, Shadow Claw, and Earthquake is my set. I thought it was really good versus him. I have Colbur Berry too. Helps with Heracross and Zeraora. Grimmsnarl, it's not great versus because he just taunts with that anyways. So yeah, wasn't really looking forward to doing it versus that mon, but versus everything else, it was really good. If he was Regenerator on his Reuniclus, then Toxic Spikes are just as good anyways. But yeah. That all depended on him being unaware, by the way. If he was Magikarp, the Azumarill was just set, I thought. This is a Rocky Helmet Garchomp with Stealth Rocks, Earthquake, Swords Dance, and Dragon Tail. Standard Aura set, pretty much. It was a good set versus him, I thought. Maybe I could have gone Roar, but I thought it would be a little bit redundant, considering that if I Roar Clefable, I mean, he just outspeeds me and Moonblast me anyway, so it's better just run SD to try to beat it if he's not unaware. If I can catch like a recover. Scarfiliolisk, you know, all reliable. Honestly, faster than now I loved Scarfiliolisk versus Salamence matchup a lot better in the last gen. You could outspeed and go for HP Ice, but now all it's got is Thunderbolt and Hyper Voice. So my last move was Glare this game, I'm pretty sure. It was either Glare or it was I thought I brought Glare on it. It might have brought Volt Switch instead. But I did bring U-Turn because I was afraid of the Zeraora. I mean, maybe U-Turn's being a little predictable, but honestly, it's kind of whatever. I've got a heavy-duty boots on these two mons, and they're kind of just my sweepers. I've got SC, Knockoff, Icicle Crash, Ice Shard on this, and then I've got Nasty Plot sub, Overheat for the Reuniclus and the Copperajah, and I've got Sludge Wave. So definitely a good bring versus him. I thought this team was pretty solid. It could definitely be a little bit out offense, but that's not really Owen's way. I mean, I thought he'd bring this motherfucking fat fish. Still one of my least favorite Pokemon. I mean, it's you guys will see it. Okay, so yeah. Zeraora lead as I lead with Salazzle. Now this was definitely a panic lead. I thought I'd lead with Grimmsnarl and try to get up screens or go for taunts versus Runerigus. And I don't switch in that well versus it, so I led with this thing just in case. But I was like, okay, this is fine. The only way he touches Garchomp this generation, because there's no HP Ice, is Play Rough. And Play Rough's not coming out right here. He's going to knock off 100% of the time. Because I'm not saying with this, knockoff is good versus Runerigus and good versus Garchomp, so we can just get rid of my item. So yep, I'm going to go Garchomp, and he unfortunately gets a crit. So that sucks because one, I don't know his set, and two, now I'm in range of what you guys will see right here is a +1 bulk up, so, or a Play Rough at +1. So I could have pivoted into my Runerigus, expecting this, and then just gotten the Colbur EQ off, but I figured I might as well just let this thing take some Play Rough damage, and yeah. So now, this was a little bit of a misplay on my part. I'm going to go into my Heliolisk right here, and I thought that I would lure him with Modest Specs idea, and click U-turn, get some initiative. I need some momentum back in my favor because of that pretty rough start. I ran the calc. even if he's adamant, because I figured he'd be adamant, right? There's no reason for him not to be, really. I was gonna run Jolly Weavile this game, no chance. Even if he's adamant, if he didn't get that crit, I live the +1, and he's clearly shook a set right here. Makes lots of sense, considering he did stay in. I don't see any item. He's not doing expert belt damage that I know of, because I did get crit, as I said. So yeah, seems shook a set. He did just click bulk up on a Garchomp, so yeah, it just all seems like it's adding up to Shuka. So I'm a U-turn there, pretty dumb play on my part, as he knocks off, and luckily my Color Berry will come through. Now, what this sucks, well, this sucks because it means no T-Spikes, but Earthquake will still be good versus this thing, and yeah, does relatively nothing because he's +1 defense. And yeah, Brunergus, the one game I bring it, just does absolutely fucking nothing because it's a shitmon. Anyways, yeah, so I bring this thing back in, so this is rough. I've lost both my grounds, so I'm gonna have to rely entirely on one of these three, is what I'm realizing. And if he's unaware on Clefable, it's really rough. Also, whatever the Grimmsnarl set is, can be really rough. If he's Scarf Cross, then, well, the thing is, I still think I have a good chance of winning this game, because Scarf Cross, whatever it locks into, one of my other mons does set up on it. Locks into EQ, I can set up with the Azumarill. If it locks into CC, I can set up with the Azumarill or Salazzle. If it knocks into Mega Horn, it's the same deal. So I wasn't that afraid, but I knew this next turn I'd either have to switch or I would have to just stay in and click Hyper Voice. Now I could have Volt Switched here. I didn't run the calc. I found out after the game he was 0 investment, and because he got the Wandering Spirit, I would have actually been able to just get the Volt Switch off and kill this thing, but I instead click Hyper Voice, and yeah, it's just gonna kill this. And now Heracross comes in. If he wanted to Reuniclus, chances are I would have just gone into my Weavile, because I don't want this thing setting up Calm Minds or anything. And if I knock off, then maybe I can get into range of Azumarill. And if I get into range of Azumarill, well, he's not gonna be able to kill me. I can maybe bait in the Aloe, and I can maybe win the game right there. Because Alumomola doesn't get return anymore, so it can't touch me at all if I get up a sub and I outspeed. So Heracross can come right here. And I will click the Hyper Voice right here, and I get a critical hit, so there's a little bit of immediate justice right there, honestly. So Earthquake will come out, and yeah, this thing just dies because Helios is frail as fuck. So what I decide here is I'm going to go into my Azumarill. I can't go into either of my other mons. This thing is, it seems still very likely to be Scarf. I'm not going to go into my Salazzle. I mean, that's way too big of a risk to take. He's not Guts, Flame Orb, so he's definitely probably Scarf. He's not Bandit either, because that just makes no sense when you can run Guts, Flame Orb. So yeah, Scarf seemed like the best move for him. Although it wasn't Moxie, which, you know, so I still had to like check that out, but I figured no matter what he went for, Azumarill could take it. Now I'm gonna go for a Power Punch right here, and this is where I think he thought the crit mattered. Maybe he thought he could take the Aqua Jet after, but I think either way what would have happened is I would have either gotten the Aqua Jet to kill this next turn without the crit after the +1, which seemed pretty likely because Heracross isn't that fat. It's pretty fat, but it's not that fat. I'm not max attack Azumarill. I'm a lot of attack, good amount of speed, a lot of HP. You know, just everything good you'd want in a Pokemon, like Azumarill this game. But yeah, either way, unfortunate crit, but it didn't make up for the crit on the Garchomp, because losing my Renergus, my main response to this thing, as well as losing Haze versus Reuniclus, is huge. So yeah, definitely immediate justice right there. And Alomomola comes out, and I'm like, okie dokie. So I was definitely a little nervous this turn. I was like, if he has some tech for this shit, then you know, I'll probably just end up losing, because I can't really break through his team that well. I can try for it with Salazzle and subs versus Sucker Punch on Grimmsnarl, but other than that, it doesn't seem likely. If he's outspeeding and goes for a Toxic, then I lose probably, but he doesn't outspeed and he goes for Toxic, and I'm like, okay, so do I win? I figured maybe I did win right here. So he goes for Wish, and I'm like, okay, well, what's his play here? Going to Encore Clefable? Alright, well, I'll just play rough. see what that does. And he actually goes hard Grimmsnarl. So I just play rough right here. And yeah, dead Grimmsnarl, crit didn't matter at all. And boom, game's over, he forfeits. I mean, honestly, I figured out the rest of his team was, his strat was actually getting up screens and belly passing into, Scarf Heracross, which, I mean, that's a good bring, in theory, but, like, I have Heliolisk, which just continuously, clicks Volt Switch every single time. So, maybe could have been a better bring. I think if he actually did belly pass into the what's called the Grimmsnarl, that would be a really good set. Because he can get up Reflex on my Weavile, which lives the Sucker Punch. And then he can just kill me with Play Rough. Because he did have Reflect and Light Screen, so that would have been a really cool set from him to do. But his plan was to go into Heracross, so either way, I mean, I'm sure Owen's a smart player. If the situation called for, he would have gone to Grimmsnarl, I'm sure. So yeah, we end up with the first half of our season, because there obviously are only 8 weeks for us, and then playoffs if we do make it, which is looking pretty likely, but I don't want to say anything too soon. We start the first half of the season 5-1 plus 16, which, I mean, that's great and all, but honestly, no shade to any of my opponents. Obviously, they all played pretty well. I'd say. I think that I've kind of gotten a little bit of a lucky schedule so far. I mean, every single opponent I've played hasn't really been someone who's been in the top of the league right now. It's only been people who all have negative records, which isn't much to say, considering that Josh and Owen are definitely two high-level caliber players in other leagues. Muck and Thunderbolt I've never really seen much of, so I can't really speak for that. Definitely just rough seasons for them. I know Josh's has been a little bit haxy too. And just not being able to get into the swing of this generation, I guess, just yet here, though he is doing well in other leagues. Yeah, so this is definitely just the first half of the gauntlet. My next half is definitely where I'm going to have to try to really prove myself. I play against a lot of the really good coaches. I have to play against Specs, who is currently 6-0, so he's the only person above me right now. Luckily, I'm in a good position even if I lose, because the next person below me is 4-2 at the moment, and they don't have that good differential compared to mine. I think their differential is literally half of mine, so I'd have to lose 6-0. They'd have to win pretty big, just to have a shot, really, at this point. But, you know, not much to say. I mean, my main goal is getting top 2 by the end of the season. That's really what I expect to happen for me if I do play the rest of my games well. So yeah, hopefully that does happen. I would love to promote to Masters. I mean, it's definitely the league to be in right now. I need to prove myself versus a lot of good players. My big goal overall is just to regain my former glory. So we'll see. But anyways, these were some pretty fun games, so I figured I'd upload them. Hope you guys sat through any of this at all. I really appreciate it. I never really say that enough. I feel like I don't really say how much I appreciate people watching my videos. But I really do. It's really awesome that you guys, the few of you that may see my videos, end up actually really enjoying them. They're a lot of fun to put out. So hope you guys did like this once again. Just a couple of LD games. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.